So I wanted to follow up the video I made about how ADHD can destroy relationships with some quick and pretty easy tips on some things that you can do every day to help you manage your ADHD. The first tip, if you don't do this already, get a hook, even just like a little sticky hook, put it on the wall and hang your keys there. Because if you're like me, you always are misplacing your keys and you always need to find them, and it's always, you're late. And some people like to put them in a bowl, that's fine too. I find it most helpful to hang things up, because if something is on something else, then it could get misplaced or things can be put on top of it. But if you have a hook, then it's not going to move and you can't put anything else on top of it. You can put purses. I like to hang up my coats and my purses, like always. So, and from the book, it says, make sure you do this every time. Because sometimes you're going to come in the house or whatever, and you're going to be like, I'll come back and put the keys up or my purse up later. You're not going to do it. You have to make sure that you do this every time that you come into the house. It takes, I believe, about 21 days to make a new habit. 21 to 30 days. And it's much harder to break a habit than it is to make a habit. So if you're doing this consistently every single day, after about a month, you're going to have the new synaptic pathways in your brain built so that you will then do it automatically. Like I do it automatically. Sometimes I can't find my keys because I hung them up and I don't think I did. Bills, put them on auto pay. As long as you have money in the bank to cover it and you know that you're going to, put every single one of your bills on some kind of auto pay. And if you take any kind of medication, do the auto refill thing. I know that some doctor's offices, some pharmacies, you're able to say, okay, in this many days, can this just be automatically refilled? So if you have the ability to do that, do it. Something that I have found helpful is to make lists of things and make it my screensaver. You can't see it. Make your list and then take a screenshot and then make it your wallpaper on the cover so that every time you turn your phone on, you can't help but see that list. And to make the list, I would recommend, in that book, he says when you're making lists, don't make it more than 5. For me, I would say don't make it more than 10. I think 7 is kind of like my sweet spot. Make them short, not really long lists. Usually you just need a couple of words so that you'll know what you're talking about to yourself. And I like to make spaces in between each line so that I don't get overwhelmed. Because if it's a bunch of things, one after the other, I might just get overwhelmed and then ignore it, compartmentalize it. And these lists can be anything from, paying bills, to going to meetings, to something you have to pick up, to doing something nice for your someone if you're in a relationship. They're not going to care that you had to remind yourself to do it. They're just going to be super impressed that you actually did it. I find it really helpful to make this list before I go to bed every night, because that's when I'm thinking about things that I need to do the next day. Once I get up, I'm not going to want to sit around making lists, but before bed, I've got the things in my head and I'm worried that I'm not going to do them, so that's usually the best time for me to do them. And if you want, take that same list that you made, you can go into your phone, into your calendar, and take your list and just pre-plan times the next day that you think you might be able to do them. You could just estimate and set an alert for the time up. If, your phone's pinging all day, you not only have the list, which you might ignore, you see something over and over, you're not going to see it again. But if you have your list and you have your calendar alerts going off, then you're going to be more likely to at least notice it. It's going to stay in the front of your mind a little bit more. If there are things that you didn't finish, just keep those on the list, delete the things you did, and then carry it over to the next day. Same thing for the calendar. If something comes up and you can't do it right then, try to train yourself to go in to your little appointment for yourself and reset the alert for like 3 hours later or for the next day. But keep them in there. Don't just dismiss them. Just keep resetting the reminders. Eventually you're going to get sick of it is what will happen. And you'll just do it because it's going to annoy you. For me, at least, and I've noticed other people with ADHD as well, we need to have something tangible. So it's great to have the phone and those reminders, especially to have things pinging in our mind all day. But to have an actual physical calendar that you have to see every day, Something about it makes whatever it is that you need to do more real. It's not just an idea. If you have an actual visible calendar that you hang up and you hang it in a place where you have to see it every day, you walk by it every day, you will notice something in your physical world that is somewhere that you can't miss it, more than you will even sometimes realize that you're just instantly dismissing something on your phone. And I have found that just the act of writing something out sometimes is all I need to do to make it lodge in my brain. Then I will remember it. Sometimes even if I type it in my phone, I don't remember it. But if I write it down somewhere, I don't know why, but it will stay in my brain, and I might not even need to look at the calendar. I will just remember. If you have friends over often or family members, just have them come in, once a year and write their birthday on the calendar for you. Just say, hey, when's your birthday? Could you write it up there? At the end of the year, if you can get yourself to do it, you just take it and copy those onto your new calendar. This is probably my favorite tip of all time that I have realized. Get, a couple dry erase markers and write what you need to do on your bathroom mirror. The one that you're going to see as soon as you wake up in the morning. If you don't have dry erase, write it with soap. Soap works great. Then you can just wash it off and do it all over again, Don't let the fact that you don't have a marker stop you, because everybody's got a bar of soap somewhere or something that will stick to the mirror that you can wash off. Or even just write little notes on Post-its and stick it onto the mirror. And you can even take that with you, your little Post-it note, and stick it on your steering wheel. Don't put it on the face of your phone because it'll fall off and get lost. Maybe your steering wheel too, but my mom will put it up next to her speedometer or in front of her steering wheel so it doesn't fall anywhere, but she's going to see it every time she sees how fast she's going. And she will write that list first and stick it on her bathroom mirror. And the calendar idea I also got from my mom. So both of my parents have a little bit of ADHD, which was something I forgot to mention in the dating video. ADHDers have an antenna for each other. It's just the way that it is. So many of my friends have ADHD. A whiteboard. My dad has done. He hangs it on the garage door because that's the door everybody goes out. So the whiteboard is there. They make the shopping list there. Important phone numbers are there. So again, we've got, the calendar inside with the dates, your sticky notes, your phone going off, and then a whiteboard as you're leaving. So we're getting these reminders. We're surrounding ourselves with the reminders of things we need to do. It's a great idea to have different alarms going off. First of all, if you have problems waking up in different locations and really loud and terribly annoying. One across the room, one on your phone, maybe one out in the kitchen even. So if you need to leave at a certain time, the night before when you're writing your list and going to bed, make your wake up alarm and then your reminder if you hit snooze, and then make another alarm for the time you need to leave the house, but give yourself 5 minutes. Make that one the chainsaw. That's what I did. Then I would do, I think, the siren for okay, now you're screwed, if you don't leave right now. So I think the chainsaw was my 5-minute warning, and then the siren would go off, and then I would know that I'd be screwed if I didn't leave. If you have to be somewhere early or even just for work every day, this is going to sound totally kindergarten, but who cares? It works. Lay out your clothes. Find whatever it is that you need to wear and lay it out, because then you will be able to figure out, oh, the shirt that I was going to wear, it's dirty, or I need to iron something, or this has a hole in it, so you don't have to show up looking like a hot mess or show up late because you had to scrub the spot out of your shirt and then try to iron it and then it turned white, and so then you were like, shit, now do I wear this shirt or just go get a completely different one? So you get a different one, then you have to change your pants, then those have cat hair on them. You know what I mean. So if you're doing it the night before, it really doesn't take that long. And don't forget to get all of your articles of clothing. Don't forget to get the socks, the underwear, anything that you're going to wear with it. Get everything so that there are no chances that you're going to be looking for something in the morning when you have to be somewhere. And to add to that, screw layering. Some girls can pull that off so well. Some guys can too. They've got their cool shirts and then a vest and then a cool jacket and the scarf or something, and then their watches and whatever. Watches are a good idea too. I don't do a watch. If you don't do a watch and you're cool with a watch, I would definitely recommend getting a watch. I don't think you should fool yourself with time. People say set it for, set it for ahead, but if I don't set it for the exact time, then my head will just convince me that I have more time. So honestly, I would set it for exactly what the time is. Back to the clothes, I would say keep your clothing simple. You know, I dress pretty simply now that I finally figured out, like, oh, that's why I was just never very good at, like, I would be stressed even because all my friends would be so cute with their different, like, things that they could do and, like, jewelry. And it's like, it's just too complicated for ADHD. There's too many steps involved. So I would say ditch all that and just, you know, if you're okay with the simpler look, then just do that. When you buy new clothes, cut the tags out right away. If you know you're going to keep it, go home, take off the, you know, price tags, and then cut the tags out. And if you're buying socks, try to get socks, you know, if there's no seams, get the no seams. Or just really thin seams. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm going to do a video on why that is. Ride sharing is a great idea for people with ADHD, especially going to work, because if you have somebody that's always coming, especially if you can be the one that's picked up, you know, if you have somebody that's coming at a certain time every day, then you can't be late because they're going to be there. You just have to get your ass in the car. If you like Lyft or Uber to work or something like that, set your Uber or Lyft alarm so that you have to order, you know, dial up your Uber at the certain time, and then you gotta go, you know, then you know that it's coming, so you have 3 minutes, you can't get distracted. This one's just for ladies. Make an emergency makeup bag and, you know, put your necessities in it so that you can then do your makeup. If you need to leave, usually makeup is last. You know, you get your clothes on, you can always put your hair up and whatever, but your makeup's going to be everywhere. So make an emergency makeup bag, buy your favorite things, you know, so you're not going to feel weird throughout the day, and put it in there and never take them out. Then you keep it either in your purse or in your car, you know, wherever is the stable place for it. So you will always have that with you, and don't do it while you're driving. I know how tempting that can be. You know, just pull over at a rest stop or at a Jack in the Box or something. You could do your makeup there if that's what you need to do. Otherwise, just go in a bathroom. The first time you go to a bathroom, whatever, you know, or get a Lyft or an Uber that day so you can do your makeup in the car. I have girls doing their makeup next to me when I'm driving people around. You know, I don't care. It's fine with me. For studying or working or whatever it is that you need to do, just accept the fact that you cannot have distractions around you. Stop going to the library. The library is full of fascinating things. Unless you have a place in the library that nobody knows about and you are far away from everyone else and you can just hunker down. But still, you need to go to the bathroom. Things are going to distract you. It's best if you can find a place where there is no one around you. And some people work better with music. If I need to concentrate, I work better without music, but with a little bit of ambient noise. So I have my ghetto fountain. It's this Animal Planet bubbling water dish that I got that both my pets were like. So I just turned it into my ghetto fountain, but it's perfect for the little ambient noise that I need, because I always need to have some little noise, you know, but if it's music, then I will get too into the music and I won't be able to concentrate. So music doesn't work for me. If it works for you, awesome. And if you are in college, make a sign and hang it on your door so people know not to come in. Turn your phone on silent and put it face down. And you have to make rules for yourself. If I get done with this much studying, I can check Facebook or Instagram. Last, I would just like to say, let people know that you have ADHD. You know, ask them for help with your time management. If you need to be somewhere, like if it's for work, ask your very punctual coworker what time you should be at that meeting or event. You know, make sure to include traffic when you're talking to them, you know, about how long do you think this will take. Ask your family too, you know, tell them here's where I struggle. And that's the hardest part, asking for help, especially if you have ADHD and maybe you didn't know it for a long time, because your family and you have probably had some issues regarding your punctuality, your ability to get things done, your responsibleness. But if you come to them and say, hey, this is what's going on, or this is what's always been going on, that can kind of help break down some of the barriers and even some of possibly the resentment that has been there. And to get rid of things from the past, you have to face them. And facing them with the people that they occurred with is the best way to mend relationships. Because I've had to do that with my parents a few times, and it was hard. And I had to have a therapist tell me to do that. I didn't even think of it myself. I was like, what do you mean ask my family for their opinion or ask them for help with this? I was just like, because I want to do everything myself all the time. I am terrible at asking for help on anything. I still am. if you approach somebody the right way and ask for help, you know, and you're not like stubborn about it and like, or defensive, just say, here's what my shortcomings are and I recognize that. You know, if you're defensive about it, or you try to act like, hey, I have a friend that, just be honest, be transparent. And usually if you are honest with no defensiveness, then whoever it is that you're talking to will genuinely want to help you. I think that about wraps it up. I wanted to end this by saying, I read this awesome quote. I can't remember where I read it. It said, if you want to change your life, change one thing that you do every day. So that could be either one thing that you do right now that you don't want to do anymore, or, start doing something. As far as these tips go, I think quite a few of these could be done without the risk of being overwhelmed, because the point of these is to underwhelm you. So that about wraps it up for my quick tips. Hopefully I managed to make it quick. I probably didn't, but hopefully you managed to make it through the video. And I am going to make another quick video just to tell you just a couple little brief things about different types of therapy and a few of my own therapy experiences.